Thank you, Abhi. Everyone, I have a setup here which allows me to look at my presentation, and you're on the left of my screen. So I'm looking at, little visuals of you. So if I look a little skewed, it's only because I'm trying to make eye contact as well. If you have questions as I, lead you through this presentation, please leave them in the chat box. I'm going to ask Yvonne if she will man, some of those questions, as they come up, the ones that she can answer for you. And then, as Abhi said, we'll leave time at the end of our presentation for you to raise your hand, and then he unmutes you and allows you to, to chat. But thank you. Thank you for being here. This is like really exciting. I was telling Avi, I get nervous every time, but I'm so excited to share this with you. And I've picked this topic particularly because 2 weeks ago, we had Laura Jacobs take, our doTERRA product class, and we were blown away. It got me to actually re-look at this basic foundation of how we at doTERRA look at wellness. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back to the wellness pyramid and teach you how to, combine the use of essential oils with acupressure points, which is, again, an area that is my forte. So why, why do I teach this? Why do I talk about doTERRA? I am a trauma-sensitive yin yoga, somatic yoga specialist. And my foray into the essential oil world started in 2015. I actually went to a soap making class, and it was led by a science researcher. So she gave me all, like, the hungry geek in me was so happy to understand, that these oils were more than fragrances. So I went down that rabbit hole. And my first oil that I studied was frankincense. And I ever since then, it was more than just an oil. It was a potent healing molecule. And then in 2020, doTERRA found me. So I'm part of Suzanne Hall's team, and everything I've been learning about doTERRA has been with, that solid mentorship. So I've clubbed that with the yin yoga that I teach, and from the lens of traditional Chinese medicine with the use of acupressure points. Also, recently I studied aromaPsychology because I feel that this is such an important area, especially to be able to give us these quick hacks, really quick hacks, and that's what you're going to study with me today. So here's a little pointer. Keep a pen and paper handy. Or if you have non-toxic marker pens and you want to be drawing spots all over your body, like these little temporary tattoos, as I show you acupressure points, go ahead and get that, to the table as well. We're going to start in just a few seconds. So here we're going to geek out. Yeah, it's a specialty class. It's not one of our regular, product classes, but don't be overwhelmed because this is something that you yourself can do. So what is an essential oil? When you look at it from traditional Chinese medicine and you look at it from, the lens of yin yoga, it is the jing of the plant. It is the essence. It is the lifeblood of the plant. So whatever it's doing for the plant, it's doing for you. It is 50 times more powerful than the plant itself. So that means, let's say if you want to have peppermint, 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to about 26 or 28 cups of tea, of peppermint tea. That's how potent the essential oil is. Of course, these are extracts from the roots, the bark, the flower, the seeds, all different parts of the plant and different kinds of distillation methods. And as I said, what it's doing for the plant, it's doing for us. And the main thing is its size, its constitution, its fattiness allows for these essential oil molecules to be absorbed into the cells, bringing in oxygen, taking out toxins, nutrifying the cell. It's, again, the power of an essential oil molecule is just amazing. And when you bring that into play with an acupressure point, the frequency of the essential oil, the chemistry of the essential oil activates the inherent, intelligence of that acupressure point along different meridians. And that's what you're going to be taking note of today. So how do you use essential oils? And again, I'm going back to Laura Jacobs' class, the last class that she gave. She talked about, looking at essential oils, not just, saying, okay, let's look at how we can diffuse them around us. Let's look at them, in our foods. Let's spike and spice our lives. So she was talking about bringing this into an Indian context, right? Looking at ways in which we can incorporate these oils into our everyday living, based again on the foundations of the pyramid, the wellness pyramid. So she talked about how diffusing them again is something you want to look at versus the scented candles, the fragrances, and all of those other toxins that we're constantly being exposed to. So that is one way of using essential oils. The other way, and of course, this is what doTERRA has going for it, and doTERRA is like the purest oil you'll ever find. And many of our oils can be ingested. So she was talking about how, again, we can spice up our lives by ingesting, some of these essential oils. And again, this is only true for doTERRA. So what I'm sharing with you today, again, is purely for our oils. And while we're about it, not the doTERRA you find on Etsy, eBay, and Amazon. Those are not legitimate, and the company will not stand behind those oils. I am zeroing in on the on. How do we use these essential oils on the body in a quick, powerful manner by finding those acupressure points that literally will soak up the oil and get them to do what they're meant to do? So that's our focus today. So how does it work on the acupressure point? Number one, these essential oils, as I said earlier, they work with their frequency. They work with, the chemistry, and they start to move chi. You know it perhaps as prana, right? So they move chi through these meridians. You again might know meridians as nadis. But now it's not just, you take any oil and you slap it anywhere. Typically, essential oils are absorbed into fatty parts of the body. So some of us have a lot of choice as to where we want to put, our oils. But for that real effect, you want to work with oils on acupressure points that stimulate certain organ systems. So again, it's helping the absorption to get to these organ systems. For example, you'll be learning about the stomach 36 point shortly to be able to help with digestion. So you can put your peppermint oil there or your digestin. But again, I get ahead of myself. We're coming there soon. The third way in which the essential oil works with the acupressure point is from its warming and cooling, its sensory, response on the body. So again, if you put peppermint, there's a cooling experience. If you put, something warming like ginger, you're creating like that movement of blood, of circulation in that area. Then, of course, you cannot deny the emotional benefits of essential oils. They work with your spirit because they have this innate intelligence. So for example, lavender, everyone knows as the oil for sleep, but it's also called the warrior's oil. On a scientific, aspect, it reduces cortisol. So it's got multiple things that it can do. And when you use it on a point that I'm going to show you later, it helps to enhance sleep. It helps if you're struggling with, insomnia or even like palpitations and nervousness and anxiety. So, emotionally, you have your essential oils and the synergistic acupressure points. And the last bit, a lot of people, especially us yogis, we use our essential oils on acupressure points to anchor an intention. So let's say you're intending to feel more grounded. Just by putting the oil in there, the aroma wafts into your limbic brain. And all of this is happening in like split seconds. So the essential oil, as you breathe it in, is hitting the limbic brain in, it's believed, under 22 seconds. So it's immediately affecting your mood. And then by the time it's in your body, it's about, 22 minutes? It's everywhere. It's all over the body. So this is what we're looking at as to why I'm picking acupressure points. And do you have to be, I'm not a traditional Chinese medicine expert. I'm only looking at it as application and what we do in a yin yoga practice. So these are quick hacks that you can do. Okay. So this is what Laura said, right? She said, when you look at the wellness pyramid, okay, let me take you back there just for a minute. When you look at this wellness pyramid, you start right at the bottom on a foundation of nutrition and digestion. She said, what you really also want to insert in there is elimination. Whatever goes in has to come out. And there are, as she said, these are these exhaust chimneys. You're looking to clear the body from the lungs, from the skin, from the gut. And you really want to support that. So that is what she and doTERRA is referring to as foundational wellness. And everything else rides on the shoulders of this foundational wellness. So here is what I have for you. I'll take you in steps. So make as many notes as you like, and you're very welcome to take screenshots of these slides. So, and this wellness pyramid was again, Dr. Hill's protocol. And he suggests that every day add 1 citrus oil to your protocol. And even, in the citruses, not all of them are created equal. The lemon is a great oil, yes. But if you look at the grapefruits or the wild oranges or even our Meta Power blend, it has a high amount of limonene, which is again an excellent oil to be able to facilitate this whole cellular, health. You're kind of helping your nutrition to be absorbed much better into the cells. So I would take a citrus oil. And remember, this is to be able to enhance your nutrition. So you're eating good food, number one, hopefully. And then to be able to help the cells take what they need, you're adding in this citrus oil. Now, yes, you might want to ingest the citrus oil, to have that going directly into the system. But if you're looking to just start with oils in the on format, in the application format, this CV12 point that you see on the right-hand side of the screen, that's a great point to start with, right? For absorption, to be able to really work right into the gut. So how do you find the CV12 point? You find your navel, and you find like the base of the bottom rib, right? So just between the sternum and the navel is your CV12 point. It's about 4 fingers up from the navel. And it's typically a point that you might feel ease and comfort at when you also apply digestive essential oils like peppermint and digestive. So this CV12 is an excellent point for absorption for your nutrients as well as for digestive ease. Please make a note of that. I'm going to give you a little time to just quickly scribble things down. The other point that I would use for digestive, again, ease, let's say you're feeling really gassy, bloated, maybe you're feeling fatigue because of digestive discomfort. Yes, you're using your peppermint and your digestin on the CV12 point, but you can also put it on what you can see here, stomach 36, ST36. So how do you find stomach 36, right? Can you see the inset? Can you see my picture in the inset? Yeah, thanks, Ram. So about 4 fingers down from your kneecap, where your little finger lands. Once you have your little finger point, this is on the outside of the shin bone, about a thumb's distance outside the shin bone. Guys, this is a crazy point. I just had a one-on-one in the evening, and I gave her this point, and she immediately felt the release in her gut. And so I would put my peppermint there, or I would put my digestive there, and then forget about it. So if you're feeling really, squeamish, tired, digestively foggy in your head, go for this point. So these are your 2 for digestive ease, both sides. Right? So stomach 36 is on both sides of the body. Make a note if you have a question in the Q&A. We can maybe come closer and I can show you and help you find the relevant points. So we've taken care of nutrition. We've taken care of digestion. Another really good point for digestive discomfort, particularly like constipation, cramping, any kind of pain, you want to go for the large intestine 4, contraindicated in pregnancy. So please, please, please avoid this point if pregnant. Right? So it's right here in the web, trying to find the right angle, the web between the index finger and the thumb. So I know we have all age groups on the class today. This is for everyone, right? I will also be giving you dilutions at the end. So depending on whether it's younger folks or older folks, you would change how much of the oil you use. But this is a really good point for releasing any kind of heat in the body as well as constipation and pain. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are okay for me to go forward. Let's look at the elimination piece. So from the pyramid, again, inspired by Laura Jacobs, we've brought the endocrine down to this first level. It's otherwise in the detox, section of the pyramid, but we brought it down here to say you really need to make sure that you're cleansing the body. So I've picked just endocrine for us to focus on. Endocrine is this beautiful blend. It has geranium, which is awesome to support your liver. It's got juniper berry, which is excellent to flush out any kinds of uric acid. What do you call it? It supports, again, the kidneys. So endocrine is my go-to. And remember, we're not talking about this class is not about how many drops do I take, how do I take it with water or a capsule. Today, it's all about how do I apply it. So I'm going to take my endocrine and I could put it on the CD12 point. I could make a nice castor oil pack and place it over my liver. I can do all that. But remember, there's a quick hacks that we're looking for. So we're going for the liver 3 point. The liver 3 point is between the big toe and the second toe. We're looking for that valley and the point where both those bones meet. And how do you know you're actually at the right place? So whichever the point it is, right? If it's CD12, or if it's the liver 3, or if it's the large intestine 4, palpate, press around that area. You'll find a tenderness. That's your spot. So it's not like acupuncture where you're thinking, oh, have I really got the spot? You're looking to be in that area. And you can massage into it gently. And then when you release, it's like stepping off the garden hose. So the energy goes. And of course, the essential oil serves like an acupuncture needle. Yvonne, Avi, so far so good in the chat? Thank you. So remember this, guys. This is your foundation. Yes, we might have issues with sleep. We might have issues just with stress, or we might have issues just with our hormones. But it starts here. So giving somebody an oil for just their hormones might be doing them a disservice. Keep coming back to this building block, this foundational wellness piece. Nutrition. So you're optimizing how your nutrients and your minerals get absorbed into the system. I teach this in greater detail. So if you ever need more, holler. I'll show you, other points that, again, one uses for deeper absorptions. These are quick hacks. Please look at your digestive health. Even if you think, I think it's okay. I ask this question of everyone and I get, I'm okay. I'm like, okay, then how many times did you go today? They're like, oh, I went this week. Like, no, you got to be going at least more than once a day, right? So look at your nutrition, look at your digestion, and which is where these beautiful oils help at the cellular level. Why? Because of the chemistry of these oils. So they're soothing, clearing, cleansing, oxygenating, detoxifying, doing all that they need to do. Let's move on. The second piece of the pyramid is our targeted wellness. So in the orange band on the wellness pyramid, we have movement and metabolism. So let's look at the movement piece now. Deep blue, whether it's the oil, the deep blue stick with copaiba, or the deep blue rub, is your go-to for any kind of muscular discomfort. And yes, you want to put it where you've kind of got that, discomfort. I'm trying to be compliant in my language. So you put it wherever. So say you've, strained your ankle, rub it on the ankle. But if you want a really targeted hack, remember your large intestine 4-point. This is for pain. This is antispasmodic. This is to help strengthen muscle. So we're going back to that same point we learned in the previous slide. Large intestine 4, contraindicated in pregnancy though. The other one, if you have issues of pain in the upper body, neck, head, shoulder, you want to go for the gallbladder 20-point. So how do you find the gallbladder? I'm turning around if you can still see me. This is where your head sits on the top of your spine. So there are you find two little valleys right at the base of your head. That's your gallbladder 20-point. So you can rub your deep blue stick there. Sometimes if I don't have my deep blue with me, but I always travel with peppermint, I put peppermint there. So immediately, because remember, it's also cooling that point. It's soothing any tension in that area. And the last one, so large intestine 4 is great for muscular issues, but if you have like a tendon issue, primarily like a tendon issue, go for the gallbladder 34-point. And now you don't, sometimes you might not like to geek out, so just pick the ones that stick with you. Gallbladder 34, you want to find the ankle bone, the outside of the ankle bone. And as you go right up, you'll find like the top of the tibia. So there's a point here where your shin bone, and your leg bone meet. There, just between the two, is your gallbladder 34-point for any issues in your tissues. So it's close to your stomach 36. These are your 3 for pain, discomfort, scratch that for discomfort, muscular tension, any kind of, I don't know. I don't think I can say the word pain out loud, right? Abhi? Just to be compliant again. Let me see if I've forgotten anything on that side. Okay. So we've got the whole movement. So you want to be doing this because remember, moving and working out, it doesn't have to be something hectic. It can be a gentle walk. But getting movement into your lifestyle is imperative for wellness. So the oils again help you stay on your program. Also move stuck chi, because when you move your body, depending again on how you've moved your body, you are moving chi. So you're again using these essential oils to flush any kind of energy that might be stuck, fluids, remove any toxicity in the body from that have been released through the exercise. On the other side of the screen, you have your metabolism. And our number 1 oil to help support our metabolism is MetaPower. It is recommended to be taken internally. There is a protocol to take it internally. But here, because we're looking at, again, just acupressure points, go back to your CV12. So this is right slap bang where your solar plexus, your Manipura chakra, if you're so inclined, this is where you want to be using MetaPower or lemongrass or grapefruit. So again, helps to cut craving. It just helps you boost, your body's ability to metabolize food and energy. Any questions so far on this? Everyone okay? Let's go to one more targeted wellness. And I know this is something that all of us on this call, the wellness advocates that are constantly, consulting and guiding people are dealing with. People who have issues resting, sleeping, managing their stress, and of course, also managing mood. So on the left side of the screen, I've got a couple of oils that we want to use, especially to be able to, soothe the nervous system. So one point that you can get to, maybe you're walking into a presentation, maybe you've just kind of got the whole full moon doing its thing on you, and you don't know why your heart's all over the place, why you're feeling so, and antsy. And so this point, now again, the camera tends to skew things a little bit. So look at it in your own body. Go in line with the little finger. Where your wrist creases is your heart 7 point. So it's you might think, this is how I take my pulse. Sure. So it's just at the crease where the little finger is in line with, the outside. Yeah, Yvonne, you got it there. This is heart 7. Heart 7, guys, amazing, amazing point. So, for example, I would take adaptive. Adaptive comes in a roll-on, and just put a little dot. So even if you just put it all over the crease, you're still doing good because you've got other acupressure points in that space too. I'm leaving it. Or I might choose to gently massage the oil in a little bit. Breathe it in so it gets into my limbic system. And I just go about my business. For good measure, I always also rub a little bit of oil, on my chest, on my sternum. So these are little places I put all the extra oil. The other, again, quick way to get into your nervous system is the vagus nerve. So you want to access it right here on the bony part behind the ear. So again, you can put a little oil there on both sides. So you can put your frankincense there. You can do your balance. You don't need a roll-on. You can take it straight from the bottle. A little dot onto your finger like so. And then behind the ear. And of course, there is the adaptive and the lavender. These are your 4 for the nerves. Another really amazing, point for grounding, for insomnia, to be able to just kind of get all of that, vata running around in the top of your body down, is the kidney 1 point. So I'm going to show you my very clean feet. It's here, right at the ball of the foot. So if you've squeezed your foot in, where you have the crease is your kidney 1 point. But if you don't, you don't have time, maybe you're kind of going into a meeting that's giving you the, like anxiety. You don't have time to kick off your shoes. You're worried about, smelly socks. Go with your heart 7 point. Yeah. Just go with your heart 7 point. And of course, a little bit behind the ears. On the flip side, you have, a need to maybe feel more energetic. You have a need to maybe clear the, the fog. You might want to just focus a little bit more. Rosemary, peppermint, and of course, wild orange are your go-to oils. I would avoid rosemary if, there is epilepsy or if someone has high blood pressure. And where would you put it? Slap bang in the top of the head. It's the GV20, it's governing vessel 20 point. Slap bang at the top of your head. There are other points too, but this is good for tonight. Please also remember, breathe the oil in and do your application in a nice meditative, way. You want to be able to breathe, hold the point for a little bit. You don't have to put excessive pressure. It's not like foot reflexology. Okay, so far? So remember, this is targeted wellness. We're building on top of nutrition, digestion, and elimination. Because if you fix your gut, you're fixing a lot of the problems we could possibly be having. Hormonal balance. I have something for the boys as well. So it's not just about us girls, going through different seasons of our life. But if you look on the left side, grapefruit and thyme are believed to support low progesterone. So basically, they're going to balance out progesterone in the body. And this bladder 60 point is contraindicated in pregnancy. It's on the outside of the foot, right? So I'm trying to find an angle in the valley just behind the ankle. So it's almost like in the where the Achilles or the Achilles heel is. Outside bone of the ankle, that valley there is bladder 60. On the inside, so if you're pinching the back of your ankle, on the inside, you're supporting the uterus. So the outside is for the ovaries, inside is for the uterus. I would use clary calm or clary sage on the inside, which is the kidney 3 point. And so if we girls are struggling with hormonal balance, use both points. Make a nice blend if you like, or just rely on the clary calm. The clary calm has been so beautifully designed. It even has fennel, which addresses the gut. It's got vitex, which is chasteberry, and clary sage. And I used to be looking all over the place for vitex, because I realized clary sage perhaps wasn't the best for me at one part of my life, and only found it in doTERRA in this blend. I was like, man, these guys know what they're doing. So it's a one size, fits all clary calm oil. I know the boys even use it for headaches. I've been told by some friends that their husbands use it for their headaches. Right? Now for the men, the inside of the ankle, this kidney 3 point, you could use frankincense to support the prostate. You could use juniper berry to support the prostate. So this is your kidney 3 point on the inside of the ankle. Spleen 6 is again a void in pregnancy. Ouch, sorry. Inside of the ankle bone, about 3 fingers up. Look for that tender spot. Spleen 6 is again, like it's the most yin point in the body. It supports your kidney, your liver, and your stomach and spleen. Your spleen, your digestive system. Balances a lot that goes on in the menstrual cycle. This is the point you want. So for hormonal balance, quick hacks, the little fleshy piece behind the ankle, both sides. Clary calm could be your go-to, or you could do thyme, grapefruit, and clary sage. Frankincense or juniper berry for the men on the inside, and about 3 fingers up from the ankle bone. Nice fleshy part is your spleen 6 point. Geranium is again an oil that you can use from, say, when a girl first starts her period. Geranium can help support, even PMS, any kind of hormonal imbalance. How much we use, again, will vary depending on age. So these are our targeted wellnesses. How am I doing on time, Abhi? Doing okay. This is the last part, like the top of the pyramid. So I've skipped the whole detox because I brought Zendocrine down. The rest you would maybe look at in your home. You would, look at the diffusing. You would look at what you're putting in your, on your skin, in your skin, your soaps, your hair. I haven't gone into that piece. I just wanted to look at acupressure points. So when you're looking at your informed self-care, like how are you protecting yourself? How are you, defending yourself from the elements? Your go-to oils would be, On Guard, our #1 immune support blend, the tea tree, a single oil by itself, and frankincense for that cellular support. And we're back to the large intestine 4 point. This is again, you can just see, just like an essential oil that has so many different, chemistry, You can do multiple things, like our frankincense is the Swiss Army knife of oils, right? The large intestine 4 is like your Swiss Army knife of acuoils. So you're right in here, help with heat in the body, fever, rash, allergies, and it helps again boost immunity. So please avoid this though in pregnancy. And the last point for today, we will quickly recap for those of you who want to, get a couple more insights. The lung 1 and lung 2 point. Now, how do you find that point? So you're literally looking at the end of the collarbone towards the armpit, yara, you're right there. And then under that clavicle. So where the shoulder, like in your pecs, where the arm and the shoulder meet. Yeah, Ivan. I'm calling out to Ram and Ivan because I can just see three boxes right now. This is your lung 1 and lung 2 point. Put your oils there. Put your oils there. Apart from, of course, breathing it in, getting it into the system through the limbic brain, through your nasal passages, you're also getting them to go into the skin, into the bloodstream from there. Lung 1, lung 2, both sides. So large intestine, so on both sides, spleen 6 on both sides, everything but CD12, there are duplicates of it. And remember, guys, this is not just, we're not just taking this, on guard and this frankincense when we're getting the sniffles or when we decide we're going to fly. This is to protect. This is informed self-care. This is something you're doing for yourself every day. And then, of course, you give your body a break after 3 weeks and then give yourself a different chemistry. So maybe for 3 weeks, you're using, on guard. Give your body a break. Then give tea tree a shot. See how the body receives that chemistry. Then take a break. So now, how would you want to mix your oils? As I said, you could have, your bottle directly. You're putting your finger on top if it's your bottle and if you're okay to do that. I just kind of dip a little bit onto my finger and then work with my points. I don't have to pour from, the orifice of the bottle. Sometimes, like in the grapefruit, thyme, and the clary sage blend for hormonal balance, I make a little vial for myself or for other people and give it to them to use. So how would you want to mix your oils? Now, if it's for a child under 12, this is your dilution, right? 1 drop of essential oil to 10 drops of carrier. And this is our carrier. Again, I'm hoping you can see the insert. This is our doTERRA fractionated coconut oil, which means it will stay at liquid, form, no matter what season. I remember in the day before I knew doTERRA, I would make roll-ons and then, we'd get any kind of oil from anywhere. And then somebody took a roller bottle from me and went abroad. And it was like all stuck and frozen and thick in their roller. They couldn't use it. And I thought, like, this is brilliant. The doTERRA has this that we can use. So 10 drops of a carrier and 1 drop of EO for under 12s. For over 12, you do about 3 to 5 drops of EO to 5 drops of a carrier oil. And then you could, of course, do multiples. You get small little roller bottles on Amazon as well. You don't have to do like the 10 ml bottle. Now, I am always on the side of less is more. So for me, I like a 1% dilution for most of the blends that I make, which is 2 drops of EO to 10 ml of a carrier. So if I'm mixing thyme, grapefruit, and clary sage, I would put 2 drops of each. And so I was thinking, like, but that's so little, how will it work? It will. So you put your oil, your oil in your roller bottle first, and then top it up with the carrier oil. Shake it nicely, and then use it. So you don't want to have more than 8 oils in a 10 ml. This is at a 1% dilution. I know that in a typical roller bottle, like say, for example, now I have my Digest Zen here. Oh, wait, let's use this one. So I have peppermint. Again, doTERRA hasn't told us exactly how many oils they have, how many drops they have, but we estimate it's about 50 to 70 drops topped up with oil. So it's a much higher dilution. So if I was using this for children, I would dilute it even more. Please remember some safety issues when you are mixing your oils or even using your oils. Should you get oil in your eye, by any chance, wash it out with the oil, with coconut oil, not with water. Because when you wash with water, it's only driving the oil in deeper. So let's say you're looking at deep blue. You've decided to use it on a couple of parts of your body and intensify the healing through some of the acupressure points. If you do put a hot compress, it'll, again, with the heat, drive the oils in deeper. If you have a warm bath after, it will drive the oils in deeper. It's a choice. Also, when you're mixing, please always mix in dark glass containers, not plastic. So again, in the good old days, I used to find what I thought was some HDPE or something like that, plastic tubs to make certain things. Please, look that we're not putting more and more toxic stuff into our system. So you really want to be looking at, dark colored glass. And some oils like the citrus are phototoxic. So if you're putting them on acupressure points and the skin is being exposed to the sun, you want to avoid that. So maybe then just put them, and cover up your skin. Less is more. Less is always. Anything else? Okay, now, I have to tell you this, right? I mean, this is a doTERRA class, but not because, we're trying to promote our product. We're trying to tell you how important it is. If you're looking to use these oils therapeutically, it doesn't make sense to not have the purest oils, because the less pure your oil is, the more damage you're doing to your cells. Then it's defeating the purpose altogether. So why do I only use doTERRA now? Number one, because they grow these oils, they source their oils from places where the oil is the most potent, where the plant is the most supported, geographically, climate, the safety conditions where it's being harvested and grown. So they're on the ground with the farmers. Purity, I've been there, guys. Till I did go, for me, it was like watching a presentation, seeing the videos of how careful doTERRA is about purity. But once I saw, it was a whole different belief system. I was like the doubting Thomas, but this was my convincer. You take a frankincense from any other oil company, and you smell our frankincense, that will be your convincer. That will be your convincer. And you can even turn the bottle over. There's a code on the bottom of every bottle. You can feed that code into source2you.com, and it gives you the entire pedigree of the oil you're holding. That's how transparent this beautiful company is. So I will not use any other oil anymore, because I really value my health. So we set the standards. doTERRA set the standards and said, okay, this is a certified, pure, tested, 65 plus tests grade oil, free from fillers, free from contaminants. And if they reject the bottle doesn't make it to you, but the farmer gets paid. So guys, this is what you're doing. You're making these very educated choices of what you're going to do to support your health. How do you get these oils? One, of course, you can buy them retail. You're just paying 25% more than if you had your own, customer account. So if you're not already, with doTERRA, if you don't already have your customer account, speak to whoever invited you here today. They will help you get your oils at 25% discount. If you're a health enthusiast, if you really want to share this, if you want to teach people, if you want to be able to apply the oils to your own space. There are people that teach oils and sales, like, because how do you boost mood? How do you anchor? You can take oils into different spaces, into different industries. You can be a wellness advocate. You can teach people to use these oils. You can share your passion, and you can earn some money on the side. Some people earn a lot. So catch our business classes too, right? Reach out to whoever's invited you, catch the business classes, because they guide, they mentor, they teach you how you can make this a business that's viable for you. So these are the three ways in which you can get your oils. And what I'm so excited about this month is that the On Guard spray, the hand sanitizer spray, is on discount. I love it. So it travels with me everywhere. It's just this lovely On Guard hand sanitizer. Then, of course, the mom kit is still on discount at 15% off the wholesale price. And it's got, the Deep Blue stick for mom and Meta Power. And you already know the acupressure points you want to use for these two. You also have frankincense at 10% off. And I think that is a keeper. If you don't already have frankincense, this is a great way to introduce yourself to the oil. So these are our three. There are many other offers, but I've picked the ones for the oils that we just talked about. So happy to answer any questions. You can even send me a note, send me a message if you need. Your whoever introduced you will be able to connect you to me should you have any other questions related to this. But for now, I'm going to stop sharing. There you are, Becky. Thanks, Richa. I'm just peeking at the chat.